I want to read to you something from the lovely Polysecure book by Jessica Fern. I find it easy to make emotional connections with others. I enjoy being close with others. I'm comfortable depending on others and having others depend on me. I don't often worry about being abandoned or about someone getting too close to me. If I am in distress, I can easily turn to my attachment figure for comfort and support. I'm aware and accepting of my partner's strengths and shortcomings. I would call them just person being person, right? We all have lovely flaws and imperfections, basically. And I treat them with love and respect. And this is because strengths and shortcomings are basically flaws and imperfections. When it comes to our relationships, and this is me adding food for thought, it's about how we get to keep communicating to each other if we're in this secure attachment, which is what this is sharing with you. Enlightenment soul age people are simply secure attachment people with an integrated mind, a restorative embodied self. And in fact, when I hear any of the neuroscience people say it's impossible for certain things with this whole us and them group, I was watching a very powerful video. It's like, I don't think you know every person on the face of this planet, and you definitely don't know the 5D mystics in the Enlightenment soul age group, because we will always know about our past, so our emotions and our assumptions, and past means me, Maria, the person, not the other lifetime stuff. That one comes up for other reasons, which if you're 5D mystic, you'll know. And in fact, this is for a side note, but let me finish reading before we keep talking a little bit. So again, flaws and imperfections, we all have them. I wouldn't call them strengths or shortcomings, but then again, some would say there are. So yeah, like I have a horrible memory for data, and I haven't been trying to improve it in any way, shape, or form. That would be a shortcoming to those who like data points. But my strength is that I try to explain, and I'm okay with repeating myself. That could be a shortcoming too. So there you go. When you are okay with flaws and imperfections, and you just will say, yes, I admit it. I am not smart in X, Y, Z, D, E, F, G. It's because you don't have an insecure ego. And that's where the non-secure attachment and or disorganized category is only one part of an insecure ego. The other part are the secure attachment people that I've seen who have grown up, have not tended to any of their charged states. The 1 to 3 attached panicky, the 3 to 7 shame submissive, the freeze of all ages, the flight 11, 12, and the fight 14, 15, 16. Oh, and they don't get educated on actually how to improve their well-being like a person. They flaunt their little mantles around of mysticism, intuitiveness, holisticism, naturopathy, extreme whatever, even the ones who are doing the whole opposite. I mean, I cannot believe that there are certain people that want to consider me, a Reiki practitioner, someone who is evil or devil. Like, what? Seriously, how many years have passed? Like, I don't get it. I get what it means to be religious. I grew up with it. What I don't understand is how your brain stays stuck in time and you actually have the ability to wear lenses that are so thick. Actually, excuse me, the neuroscientists explained that to me, so I'm going to keep reading. They explain the us versus them. And so here you go. Cognitive dissonance, confirmation bias. I think they were talking about something with regards to evolution and how, yes, way back when our ancestors looked up to the strong because we were in danger compared to animals. I would say that right now, again, Enlightenment soul age people are like, yes, we're not back then. We know it, which is why we're not looking to whoever's strong or not strong. I don't care if you're a female or a male or a this is where not caring means if you lead with heart because you care about people, and I'll notice it, because see, the 5D mystic in the Enlightenment soul age group will notice it immediately. Because your nervous system and your entire contemplative brain is going to come through in a vibration, because we're also all a sound. But again, we understand when someone says, this is bullshit, what you're speaking about is really not making sense. Yes. My shortcomings, I don't do data. And I'm not very great at trying to prove something. Oh, and I don't like to bother trying. So, again, secure attachment, differentiated self, restorative embodied person. I'm okay with being whatever it is that people will define when they're not aware that some of us don't think and feel the same way you do. I'm so sorry that that was not something you learned about, and you want your group, go for it. Go for your group. Don't have to come here and listen to some other lady who's not part of your group. Exactly. This is where food for thought. And oh, by the way, online, I mean, if I start even, I'm not going to right now because I'm thinking about all these people that I've seen. They look like they think that they actually have a way of portraying, because they're intuitives, they think that they might be a reincarnation. And again, I don't even want to say it, because that to me, it's like they're all grown-ups. I know why my data point friends are like, come on, stop, Maria, or they'll be like, enough of your pink tainted glasses stuff. I'll be like, okay, fine. What do you want to talk about? What I don't understand is how people that look the way I'm thinking about have a mazillion gillion followers. And I'm like, okay, yeah, there's obviously a lot of children out there, and they don't know it though, because if you talk to them, believe me, when I'm special, how these people are telling me how special I am. I'm like, okay, that we're all special. No, but no, we're all special. Or better said, none of us are special, and we can all accept that being human, though, is freaking awesome. So here, let me again go back to explaining the Enlightenment Soul Age Group. It's freaking awesome. 5D Mystics, awesome again. And you'll know this without me needing to do anything except for saying it, and you're like, okay, I want to hear more. The ones who don't believe it, again, they have a different path. And I get it, because some people, they don't have this path. They have another path. I'm glad I'm not on that path, is all I'm going to say. So where else? During conflict or disagreement, this one I really love. I am able to take responsibility for my part, apologize when needed, clear up misunderstandings, apply problem solving strategies, and forgive when needed. Oh, so Enlightenment Soul Age Group people, we don't actually need to forgive, because like Daniel Siegel says, forgiveness is not about justification. It's about, what did he say? Already giving up all hope of anything of the past changing. And I am a person who does distance healing to support people to transform and work with the energetic spectrum of past events or future events. And I've done plenty of those practices to support, to visualize, and to have, in that intuitive space, in that consciousness field, things take place to support a person. This is why bringing together human, spiritual, and spirituality, not just one or the other, none of them ixnay the other. And for the 5D mystic and the Enlightenment Soul Age Group person, this is normal, which is why, again, my content is not for the people who don't live the world of mysticism, because they're going to think this is a BS, or some will be curious just because. The ones who are open-minded enough will be curious because they know that this is food for thought, that this is a person's experience. And the other part is they actually will have the humbleness and the open-mindedness. And what I really want to say is the smarts to understand that you won't know something if you don't experience it. So if you don't dream and have astral travels, if you don't have a way that you can always be connected to your oversoul. This is people that are in your life and know if things are going on. If you don't experience it, a person who I consider actually smart and adult will not be making statements in their brain about, no, this is not true. They will take steps back and be aware of, this is a human being who's telling me about their experience. And here's what I do love about my oversoul pieces, the ones that are not in the same boat that I am, but they actually care and know and listen because they want a relationship. And we, this is where that trust is there. I had one of my friends once say, I want to listen to you, but right now what you're doing feels like you're building up, a list of criteria that fits a puzzle. So I'm becoming skeptical. They use the word skeptical. And this was great because that's what honest conversation is all about. They're genuine. In fact, they said, I know you. So I know you don't make up bullshit stories. But my brain is starting to not be able to follow. And I said, okay, well, it's okay. No big deal. Let's change the topic. Because that's actually what we're doing, is just sharing moments of life. We're not trying to prove points to each other. So disagreements don't happen. Forgiveness is not needed. Why? Because there's nothing that's taking place except for people interacting with each other. So polyamory is very simple for the Enlightenment Soul Age group because we do love without knowing any separation. No person is an enemy to us. Of course, there are situations that we won't want to see, and really what we want to see is humanity get a little bit more along. And that's where the lovely mental health professionals, the good ones, are helping with that. They train people in therapy how to put into practice their brain to repair and to learn how to engage with secure attachment. So I just finished watching a whole bunch of episodes, thank you NICABM, on learning about this, and there's more to come. And I'm like, wow, I've done all of this my entire life. And I know one person who I've been doing it with in a very cute way. And I'm like, I wonder, I should share that because I think they'll find it interesting. Since we're always saying people are people, whether you come at topics from a mind that is geared to see how the parts fit. And so that's that separation. And really, this is where that masculine type of energy, and there's a way that I explain it, which is the left mode wants to, yes, dabble into the right mode, but it needs time to sit in the unknown uncertainty with what the left mode has learned. So it's just a matter of practice, being able to be flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable. That integration of the mind takes place with the participation of the host and basically the person who's thinking. And then the emotions also, though, as they come up, the same person gets to be in mindfulness. For the Enlightenment Soul Age group person, this is all very easy. The Enlightenment Soul Age group inclined person too. And so 5D is this oneness consciousness because your mind is your masculine, your feminine is your body. Now, when it comes to how you think, I'm a right mode person. I'm okay with the unknown, and then I use my left to make sense of things, of course, because I have to organize it. But the part about the right is where I lead with what is considered nonsensical, meaning it doesn't make sense, to the left modality because they want it linear and in data. Again, my shortcoming, quote unquote, I don't find it a shortcoming. I know that whenever I see anything, I can always find 10, 20, 30 different ways. Yeah, not that many, but at least 2 to 3. Depends how much the person really wants me to share, but to them it's gibberish because they're looking at it with the yesterday. I'm not looking at it with the yesterday. The yesterday is the yesterday, the today's the day, and I'm going to look at it in the absence. But I also know that my yesterday still impacts. So there are assumptions. There is the past with it. But I'm going to try to silence it to the best of my ability. This doesn't mean that it won't hold a past. So once again, so here's where left is always looking at the parts. We don't look at the parts. We look at the whole with the parts, and then we allow the parts to be variables, and that's because they will go through transformation. Instead, if you want it fixed, this is where you're looking for rigidity, which is what's coming forth, and that's where the adaptive child is, harsh, unforgiving. They don't learn new things. It's because beneath that is a non-secure, wounded child. Doesn't have to be wounded, can also just be scared. So life is 2 choices, love or fear. This is one of those constant themes in spiritual and or spirituality. But let me break it down to you, humanly speaking. Your nervous system, when your ego self feels threatened, will look outside itself to engage social engagement. If you have a dysregulated, modulated, embodied self, the outside world is not safe. This is why some people just want to hug a tree and not humans. I love to hug humans, not trees. The tree is tough and the bark hurts me, and I love nature, but I love humans more. And you know what? When you are in your social engagement system, that's because your oaths, others, and the self in the default mode network, which is the little chatter monkey brain that the spiritual and spirituality say silence it. And I'm like, no, you don't want to silence it. You want to become aware of it and what it means to you as a human. What it means to you as a human is that if you want to hug a tree and not a human, there's work for you if you want to find your full well-being. Great somatic sensory motor therapists are out there, and I'm sure there are great coaches and consultants and shamans that also integrate and or at the very least are knowledgeable about somatic sensory motor trauma. I learn to support and help people to be themselves from their heart with their flow. So the integration keeps on getting more and more beautiful because I can give more to the people who actually want to become self-empowered, want to enlighten their life, want to maybe move into their enlightenment soul age group. Maybe they won't. It doesn't matter. In the meantime, your integrated mind is what you get to start working on, because you move from rigidity to flexibility as you work through that inner growth mindset, the duality, but it's neutrality in duality, because you look at the likes and dislikes and you're like, okay, yeah, but I'm not the only person. You look at the emotions. You don't allow that to take over because you're wanting to participate in your own observer, witness, and narrator. This is mindfulness. Some people, they like doing it all on their own. And when they do, in fact, they hug people again, not trees. They'll hug trees too, but they won't say, oh, I don't want to be around people. If you don't want to be around people, not good or bad, but there are reasons behind it. And it's something important that people discount because of stereotypes, generalizations, and just, I mean, I don't even know anymore what excuses, there's not excuses that I can make, because I now understand the level of ignorance that people have on being people. I have full-blown compassion for the people who have a level of trauma or abuse that destabilizes their inner world. They are so fragile. It won't seem like they're fragile, but it will be very clear because they will only rupture relationships or splinter. They don't know how to repair, and they get very rigid even if they find an individual who's able to repair. And so the indication immediately of not well-being and of a person who needs additional support is someone who cannot learn to actually love humanity and life and wants to isolate. If you're consistently wanting to move away from people, there's not an improvement that's happening. If your energy levels aren't moving up, there's not an improvement. This is like the part of making it human with personal development and ascension. So again, I'm here to support my lovely 5D mystics. This is because you all who have intuitiveness stuff, I've seen so many and I still see them. One, the immature feminine thinking they can go around telling another human being what to do with their life because of clairs, not to mention the ones who are actually have a bunch of followers. And again, those who will stay there, because there will be those, they found their community. They will be those us and them and I'm special, no one's special, whatever it is. I'm not talking to those people. I'm talking to people who know we're human beings and we're all on this planet. Let's make it work to the best of our ability. We can by creating grown-up relationships, because that's where it starts. It's with the people around you and how you treat your neighbor and how you treat each other. And if you're authentic, if you know how to be authentic. And most people don't know how to have confrontation. I mean, the only reason ruptures happen is because people, the majority, and so here's where, again, I was a teenager. I didn't need to be told how to speak a truth. I always speak my truth. I just learned that most people will lie because they don't even know they're lying. Their implicit memory is not anywhere near their awareness. And I'm again, deviating, but we don't step into relationships. The Enlightenment soul age person, the 5D mystic, the mature feminine, and the mature masculine, because we're going to be your parent. No, we step into relationships because we're engaging with love, interest, and willingness to work with each other, and knowing, okay, if it gets temperamental, we want to make sure that we maintain a level of ease so that we can continue enjoying each other and the conversation. And it's just something natural. The grown-ups, naturally speaking, we allow ourselves to work with those flaws, if you will, and that's why they're not flaws, just people being themselves. The other last statement, I do well with the transition of going from being by myself to then being together with a partner, and I also do well with the transition of going from being together to then being alone again. You guys should really get it. It's a really good book. Now, here's the part about the Enlightenment soul age person will not have found. I have yet to meet completely aware people of themselves. And when I say aware, I mean to know that your emotions are always present. And if they're getting charged, it's personal. It's not good or bad, it is. And then the ability to desire to engage for curiosity. And that's where you know true self-confidence and then wanting to build relationship, because the competition of proving is something that can happen, and some people are interested in that within their relationships. But the Enlightenment Soul Age group person is not interested in competing with their loved ones on opinions. You have your thoughts and your emotions. I have my thoughts and my emotions. We're differentiated, and we link and join because we want to join all of the 5DC relationships, and that's where our focus is. It's on the adult, the functional adult love language, to build your own ability to be yourself in a way of compassion, mindsight, mindfulness, this ability to be present in the now. It's not hard, because when you're leading with compassion, you're not leading with the shame cycle, which leads to blame, shame, fault, and sometimes even revenge. These are aspects that I have seen. I've always intuitively known anyone who's going to be quote unquote mean to me, something's happened in their life, because I look at what I've done. And if I haven't, with any intent whatsoever, tried to tell you who you are, or tried to invade your, like, there are many specific things I could say, and this is all non-provable, by the way. Empathy is something we naturally will do. So we will present with all of our transparency who we are, how we feel. And if somebody is going to want to question it and continue to be in a rigid form, again, this is an indication of suffering for the individuals at hand, not the other way around. When usually you meet people who are in the middle, they either grow with you, and that's where you keep moving outward with those relationships in a secure way. And again, I actually don't find that anyone who's flexible, adaptive, coherent will always work with their relationships, because that's what grown-ups can do. That's what compassion does. Looking forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.